Hi everyone, this is my to teach a fish moment with iCarePro's report. Now I use this report obviously as other MMs do with every client, and the most important question that we have to answer on this call is what is iCarePro doing to build new patients? Because that's what they're paying us for. And there's different sections in this report that don't have any relevance to that question. Traffic has a lot of important information, but it doesn't answer the question of where's the new patient. It doesn't really go into that at all. And so we typically go through this for other reasons. Same thing with rankings. This helps a lot with the AMs, but it doesn't tell me new patient volume at all. We included Google My Business because it does emphasize that people are finding this business either directly or they're finding them through discovery, meaning they searched eye exam and they saw their listing. But this data, for some reason, does not tell you anything about which calls came through from whether it was somebody who knew the practice or whether the call was from somebody who found them online. All of this data of customer actions is cool. It's helpful to see that your Google My Business is working, but none of this data tells me if they were new or not. And so what happens is when I'm on this Google My Business page, some doctors will say, well, how much of this is iCarePro? So my typical answer is, we've written new content if on a higher service like ODLingo. We do SEO work and citation management. And of course, we help you with your Google My Business to make sure that it's accurate and up to date to help make sure that it ranks well. But the doctor will say, but I'm the one building all these reviews. Alex, I got over 217 reviews. Weave did that for me. If a doctor says that, they have a really good point. And unless they're using our app, the doctors will kind of just feel that they had a lot to do with this. Of course, they're not arguing so much, but it's more about, is Google My Business answering the question, is this iCarePro's work or not? And Google My Business is a very mixed bag. It's hard to answer that question, which is why we go to our Appointments tab. This is definitively iCarePro's work. It's calls and form submissions placed through the website. Now, of course, there are people who know of them and they find them online. But what iCarePro, on a call, what we try to say is, I'm going to show you that this correlation on this chart is just going positive every month, and that's clearly because of what iCarePro does. Of course, the most important part, in my opinion, is online form appointments, because those are solid leads. Those are people who just went to make an appointment, or they want to make an appointment, and they clearly tell you if they're a new patient when they use our forms. Of course, if they're using something like SolutionReach, like this client, we don't know where they got these 20 new patients or not, but because they had so many clicks on their scheduler, we can safely assume a very low number. This client, for example, had about 200 clicks, and so that's why we got 20 new patients, which is probably a very low estimate, but again, it just shows that the site is performing well and that our marketing is helping this practice grow. Call tracking, we've done a lot of statistical analysis, about 100,000 calls, I think, at least by now. Thank you to, excuse me, thank you to Steve and TSO, because we were able to review all these calls, and ultimately we came to a very solid rate that out of about 79 calls with a good solid time of duration and where they're located, we can pull out, 36 of them were new patients. Now that might be a lot, out of 80 calls, but we're also including click-to-calls, people who call them on the very bottom of the website with the practice's regular number. So because of the different factors, we came out with a high number. I think call tracking is, again, less reliable because you don't know who these callers are. exactly. You don't know if they're new, returning, sales, spam, somebody with the wrong insurance. It could be people asking questions. So this number is a little bit vague compared to an online form. But in the end, this data we can just sort of show to a client saying, if we keep seeing calls going up and up and up, and we keep seeing your online form submissions doing really well, there's no doubt in our experience and our data that you're growing. So for a client like this, even though on this example his November, December were basically neck to neck, it's a positive sign. It shows there's a lot of growth, a lot of opportunity being built through this website that it never had in the last year. And even with just kind of highlighting PPC, it's a part of this is sort of showing that our service is building clicks to calls to appointments. And by putting all these numbers together, a client can get a good picture that he's getting the growth he needs to succeed. And this is where we say this is where iCare Pro shines. Obviously, there are other practices who are specialty, and they do different events, and we help show value there as well. But that has less to do with the report and more to do with just kind of the marketing plans. But I hope this has helped you understand what our reporting is about, where the marketing managers have to kind of convey where iCare Pro succeeds. But ultimately, each client has their own special need, their own special, patient they want to see. But this report does help give a correlation of growth, which is ultimately proves our worth.